And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, R. Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, a lot to cover this week. We are talking AEW. We also did a Wrestlemania special. We also have the 5 days of Stone Cold. When do we get vacation? When is 19 paying us to go to Hawaii and sit on the beach?
Yeah, let me maybe I'll message Jabari, the one and only Jabari A. Davis, after this episode, Brad. Bright side is, man, it's more quality time together with you. We had a blast with Mike Steff. Shout out to him at Mike Steffens _ on Twitter. We made those WrestleMania predictions. But we gotta talk some AEW.
Hell yes. Really excited to get there too.
Yeah. Dope. Let's go ahead and get it kicked off, man. My first question for you has to deal with the Blackpool Combat Club. I have two questions for you. Again, this is just direct Jones for me today.
Okay.
First, when is your thank you? When is your Blackpool Combat Club tee scheduled to arrive from Pro Wrestling Tees? And then secondly, how would you fantasy book this from now until, let's say, Double or Nothing? I think we forget Double or Nothing isn't too far away from us. We don't have a huge gap between pay-per-views for this one. I need to know if you purchase the tee. And then secondly, what do you think? Do these guys, Mox and Danielson, stay as a tag team and maybe they're in a tag team match at Double or Nothing? And if so, for the titles, not for the titles? Or do you see them ushering in, say, Yuta Wheeler? Daniel Garcia kind of seems hands off right now from them. What are your thoughts so far? Does it rule as hard for you as it is for me? And what do you think we're going to get from now until that next pay-per-view? Are they title contenders or something totally separate?
If they're not title contenders, I don't think I'm going to be very happy about it. They need to be, at the very least, in the conversation. But whoever they face, they have to beat. They have to. Like, nobody can beat them. There needs to be a build to that just isn't there right now. It'd have to be like FTR, the Bucks, somebody worthy of beating them. And right now, I don't know that they have anybody. I wouldn't take Red Dragon over them. I wouldn't take anybody over them. Like, put Moxley and Danielson together. That's like, sure, prime MJ, sure, prime LeBron. You're on the same team.
Problem. Yeah.
Like, lights out at the end.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we get Yuta. I'm hoping that we get some other people incorporated in there. As far as booking, because this is going to relate to my next question, or my first question for you, ironically, now that I moved it. Man, I don't know if I see them taking it from Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, but I'd be fine with it. I think they take it before Double or Nothing, though, if that happens. I think it ends up being a Dynamite. I doubt it'll be a Rampage unless we have a live one. But I can absolutely see them winning the strap, or maybe they take like a New Day approach to it and they just have combinations of people. Maybe once they build their dojo out, it's Yuta and Moxley, or Yuta and Danielson, they win the straps, where Mox is on the outside as a defender and maybe he has a singles run of something. But I could see that being more Danielson doing it. Mox gets the tag titles. Danielson gets singles gold at some point as part of the Combat Club. I think Danielson would be a great TNT champ, honestly. Obviously, a great world champ.
Sure.
Great world champ, but like, Danielson wants to work. So yeah. I would love to see him out there defending every week. I think it would be great. So
that's kind of what we were hoping for when we were thinking he may win the IC belt.
Yes.
Near the end of his run on SmackDown. Didn't happen, but
right.
He could totally make that the workhorse belt again.
Yeah. So I'm really, I guess to use your phrase here, long answer long. I'm not really sure how they're going to book it. I think they win tag gold. I don't think it's at Double or Nothing. I think there's a singles match involving them at Double or Nothing. I just don't know who it is. But I could be wrong. Maybe they are building Double or Nothing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I guess I'm not as stoked for a tag belt run just yet. Like you said, this is clearly the super tag team of all tag teams. Who's going to beat these guys? However, I really don't want Proud and Powerful to get lost in the shuffle. To me, it seemed like those were, in my mind, that's clearly the next tag team to win the gold. I know, they were quote unquote baby faces against Jurassic, who are also baby faces, but to me, you have to have Proud and Powerful get the next gold.
Great.
And I think in my mind, the Combat Club would interfere with those plans. So I'm really curious about what they're going to do at Double or Nothing. I don't know if it's going to be too soon to face the Jericho Appreciation Society, because in my mind, we get Mox and Danielson, and then maybe, we have Cesaro join and Wheeler Yuta and maybe even Lee Moriarty, and then a 5-on-5, a Las Vegas street fight. I know you would enjoy that. So in my mind, I think I'd rather have that than them going for tag team gold and sort of leapfrogging Proud and Powerful.
I agree.
Yeah. But sometime in the year
or trios.
In the year 2022, I would love to see those dudes hold gold. I would predict it, in fact, but I want that to be maybe near the end of the calendar year instead of May.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a ton of sense. I don't really have anything to add to that. I think this is going to rule. I just can't wait to see it all play out.
Yeah.
So my question for you is related to the Blackpool Combat Club.
Perfect.
Do they incorporate women? Now, here are my thoughts. I saw somebody say this. Jamie Hayter would be a perfect fit for the Blackpool Combat Club. I want this to happen. I need this to happen. What are your thoughts?
I love that. That's a great question, Brad. I had not considered Hayter in this group, but that's the perfect fit. I've longed for Layla Hirsch joining Team Taz at some point, because I think a woman in that
makes
group
sense.
would rule,
yeah.
especially her. Yeah, Jamie Hayter makes all the sense in the world. She would have a feud with Britt Baker, and then maybe after that, hopefully she beats Britt, right? That would be a huge rub for her. And then she signs up for Blackpool Combat. Yes, I'm here for it. That would be awesome.
Be amazing. I don't know if Regal gets in there and slaps her, but
yeah, I was gonna say the initiation.
Yeah,
hopefully would look different.
Yeah, hopefully.
But
maybe he goes like this and then just puts it away.
What?
Like he knows.
Yes, and then you figure
what
audio
sort of content there that I just did.
We are on video.
Yeah.
Well, then you wonder too, what is sort of the cap for this group? I mean, I don't think we want this to be the NWO, where it's like you go a few weeks and then there's 15 people in the group. Because for me, it would seem Yuta, Garcia, and Lee Moriarty will end up being a part of this. And then maybe Jamie Hayter makes 6, and then we cap it there. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know who else they did. I also don't want to just be like, oh yeah, bring the Europeans in, because if you have Cesaro and Jamie Hayter, maybe we get Miro.
Missed that guy.
I don't want him in that club.
No, he needs to be his own separate entity.
Yeah, he rules way too hard to be a part of a stable. Amazing. Also, where is he? Where is he? Get him back on my screen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's got to happen soon. Whenever he comes back, man, I have such high hopes for that guy. His character is I think arguably the best in any company. I'm stoked.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love his entrance. The horn plays. It's so good. It's so good. Who do you think the Blackpool Combat Club's first feud will be? Do you think it will be Jazz? Do you think they will fight the sports entertainers?
Oh, man. I'm gonna say. Oh yeah,
I was gonna ask. Do you think it's Team Taz? Do you think it's? Do you think they go after the Hollywood Blondes, which they already wrestled, I think? But I don't know. I don't know who else.
And who can afford a loss, because the Blackpool Combat Club is definitely winning this first feud.
Young Bucks.
That may be. Yeah, maybe the Young Bucks. To me, I think Jericho Appreciation Society is already facing Kingston and Proud and Powerful.
True.
And I don't know, maybe you need to win that feud.
Yeah.
But then again, what does that mean for Proud and Powerful? I don't know. Yeah, for Blackpool, that first feud, man, I'm struggling. I would want to say something like the Wingmen, because that's just a group that could eat a pin.
Yeah.
But
Serpentico.
The Chaos Project, get Luther out there. I like what you said about the Young Bucks. I mean, they certainly can take the pins without being hurt. It's kind of a conundrum, is it not? Trying to figure out who who they're going to defeat in that first signature program. Maybe it's a team that isn't already together that we don't know of yet.
Yeah, they seem to be going after the younger guys. They're killing all of them, but they're killing all of them in front of people, which gets them on people's radar. So having the varsity blondes out there reminds people that they exist. And I know the Guns and FTR are about to head into a match before FTR wrestles the Briscoes. So I don't know who's left. I don't know that it has to be a tag. Maybe they just come out together. I'm not really sure, but I love this that they're tagging together. Initially I was like, well, I know Mox is back, but you just forgot he was with Kingston. So that's going to come back around at some point for sure. But because Eddie won't let that go away. But I don't really know where they go either, which is actually kind of exciting because I'm not sure what they'll do, but I trust that they'll figure something out that's good.
Amen. Yeah.
Tyler, this brings us to this while we are flying through this.
We are flying.
Yes.
I guess that's what happens when you have a 2-hour WrestleMania predictions episode with Mike Steph, right?
Let's give the people what they want, and that's a shorter podcast. It's time now for Hot Take Ty. Take us away, Tyler.
And now it's time for Hot Take Ty. Spicy.
Yeah, Brad. This is a bit more of a somber hot take tie. I got to be honest with you. It's been a week, and look at this solo camera. It's been a week, and I already missed The Bachelor, man. I thought I was gonna be okay with it because it was really just overstaying its welcome by the end. Even me as a new Batchie, a new super fan, will admit that it was kind of Batchy. It's a thing. Bachelor Nation. I'll put you on.
All right, you're off of this.
Even I can admit it was overstaying its welcome near the end. But Brad,
Batchy.
I need it back. Tomorrow, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly, man, tomorrow is going to be the first Monday without The Bachelor in my life. Will we get Cody Rhodes on Raw? Maybe. All signs seem to point that way, and I'll actually tune in for that, especially if it's at the beginning of Raw. But that is not filling my heart. That is not filling my soul. Only one show can do that for me on Monday nights. The Bachelor. You know I am fired up for the next season of The Bachelorette. We get Gabby, we get Rachel. It's a 2-person Bachelorette. We've never seen that before. All I know, Brad, is I thought I could hold on and I could wait till the fall, probably when it will be on, August something. It's going to be a long summer, man. The weather's warming up, which is great. The sun comes out earlier in the morning. But I don't know what I'm going to do without The Bachelor, man. I miss it. I need it. And I'm struggling.
I'm sorry to hear that. My mouse, you can't see it right now, is hovering over a button that would Denise Salcedo you as soon as you started. You deserve to be muted as soon as you said the word batchy.
I'm just putting you onto the lingo. This is what they say.
I was like, how do I turn that into a pun? Batchy crazy? Because that's what it sounds like.
This is just my truth.
God, man, I'm so sorry for you.
I appreciate your sympathy.
No,
even Cody showing up is not going to fill this void in my heart right now.
I think you misunderstand me. I feel sorry for you. Not, I feel bad that it's over. I feel sorry that you're saying shit like Batchy. Like, good God.
I know, man. It's a part of my life.
Yeah,
it really is now.
Yeah.
That's my truth. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm happy for you. You and your Batchies. Let's go. Oh my God.
I'm telling. There's a whole vocabulary, man. I'll send it to you.
Causes me physical pain.
I'm gonna
It's
get
kind of like
Bachelor Nation on your back, man. It's
kind of
serious
like
out here.
it's well, yeah, like the Swifties will come after me too if I bring up Taylor Swift. I'm sorry, I'm still mad about her first hit, man. Like just like Romeo and Juliet,
Mm.
just like them. Did you finish the play? Anyway, go. Just saying, man. It's just like Romeo and Juliet. Like I don't want to say nothing here, but I don't think it ends the way you think it ends. Anyway, go ahead. Hit me with question 2.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Record time for GI here.
Let's rip through it.
Yeah, question 2. So I know you have thoughts on this, which is why I'm preparing my words here. This past Wednesday on Dynamite, we saw Thunder Rosa, new champion Thunder Rosa, come out. Obviously a pop every time, right? But this time Vicky Guerrero interrupted her, and now we are leading into what we can presume is Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose. That is Thunder Rosa's first program. Brad, I think you and I are in agreement that this was a really bad segment, not worthy of following up on Thunder Rosa's epic cage match victory over Britt Baker in her adopted hometown of San Antonio. So I think you and I agree that we weren't feeling this whatsoever. So certainly I want to get your thoughts on that and hear your displeasure if you want to share it. But my specific question is kind of flipped around. Is Nyla Rose the most underutilized talent in the women's division? She's getting a prominent spot here, but her in-ring work, her presentation, her mic skills feels underwhelming. It feels like she's being underutilized compared to what she could be.
What's the last time that you remember Nyla in a spot this big? I'll ask you a question to lead into it.
Yeah, my last memory
outside of TBS title tournament.
Yeah, I would have to say that squabble or that feud over cheeseburgers with
That's
Britt
it.
Baker.
Britt's
the previous champion, right?
Britt wins the championship, comes out on Dynamite and celebrates with McDonald's because they had a thing on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Nyla Rose wrecks it. Nyla destroys the McDonald's, becomes the first contender because of burgers. And now we have this dumb thing. We have Vicky Guerrero, who I feel like has overstayed her welcome. At least with Nyla. We don't need her with Nyla. We don't need Vicky to talk for her. Nyla's great. Mm-hmm. Nyla is also not a beast. Nyla is a babyface. Nyla's great.
Yeah. We haven't seen her presented as a babyface ever in the company, right?
No, but Nyla, she's clearly a babyface. If you just follow her on social media.
Great Twitter follow.
Unbelievable
Top
Twitter
5.
follow.
Yeah.
I love Nyla Rose. I think Nyla deserves a better spot. Nyla deserves better booking. Nyla deserves everything better, but so does Thunder Rosa. Nyla is so underutilized. She shows up to be like this unstoppable force of nature, which will lead into my last question, but this is related to my question for you. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else right now that's underutilized more aside from Ruby Soho. I don't know what that is. I don't know if she's
we haven't
hurt.
seen her at all.
She's just been gone. She did have that match where she got dumped on her head on the outside of the ring, or when she took a move and landed kind of funny. I don't know. Maybe she hurt something, but I just haven't seen her in so long. And there's the mystery opponent coming this week. And I'm all for it because if it means more good women's talent in AEW, they need it. They need the help. I feel like they're pushing people that I want to see get pushed, but I'm just not that into it. It's problematic, but I don't know that any of them I would consider underutilized. Jamie Hayter, maybe, but her
future member of the Blackpool Club.
Her mic skills, I don't really know what they are. I've only heard her talk like one time, so she might be dreadful and need work. I have no idea. I know her in-ring work is good if she's in there with a good dance partner. Man, I don't know. I think you're right. I think you're dead on with that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. In terms of underutilized women, you sort of ran down some of the names that I was thinking of. Ruby Soho. You mentioned Jamie Hayter. Even Julia Hart. To me, it would seem that her joining House of Black is weeks and weeks overdue. I thought she was going to join back in January.
Yeah, it's been
Right?
forever. Yeah,
It's been forever.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna get that payoff at some point, but I really want to see her there. For me, it's just Nyla. Not that she hasn't been in prominent positions, just as you alluded to with Britt Baker, a year ago. And she gets TV time, but I just think in terms of what her ceiling could be, as you mentioned, Brad, her current booking is just so far under that. I know she was one of the first champions. I think the second women's champion in the company.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Second or first? Riho was first or second?
Riho was first.
Then she was second. She beat Riho.
Yeah, Riho won. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Riho beat her in DC. For me, it's Nyla. I just think, like you said, her ceiling could be so high, but yet we know she's going to be the first challenger for new champions, and then she's going to lose, right? Like she's going to lose to Thunder Rosa. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But then what becomes of her? An eventual Nyla versus Jade match, I think, would rule. I don't know that I'm ready to say Nyla defeats Jade. I think that may be Athena.
Yeah.
Hopefully Athena debuts this week, or Toni Storm, or whoever that person might be. But yeah, for me, long story long, as you quoted me earlier, it's got to be Nyla for me.
They alluded to that when there was a eliminator tournament, not tournament. It was eliminator match. It was like a battle royale or something. I think it might've been their casino battle royale or something, but Nyla and Jade ended up at the end of it. It was Nyla, Jade, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Thunder. Oh, it was Ruby. It was Ruby. That was what Ruby won. But it was Nyla, Jade, and Ruby were all in that match together. I would like to see that again very much. I would love to see Nyla and Jade. I think that match would rule. Okay, Tyler, it's time for a brand new segment, a long overdue segment here on Gimmick Infringement. We've been talking about this for a while, something we want to do, something we're trying out. We'll see. Let's let it rip. It's time for the State of 19 Media.
And now it's time for the State of the Biz.
We didn't talk. Are you leading this one, or am I?
I don't know. No, we did not
Let's
talk
embrace the
about
red.
this. Like 21, 20. No, I'm not embracing this shit. We're editing this.
Let's
21.
Man, we're so excited about this. I think we're just feeling the pressure of who kicks this off. I will tell you, the first show we want to highlight from our colleagues at 19 is the wonderful Small Town USA, and I feel it's only right, Brad, that you tell us what's happening in the small town world these days.
Small Town USA podcast is focusing this season on true crime. Jessica and Carmen highlight the town where diamonds disappear in the north. It's the story of Helen Diamond. Check them out wherever you find podcasts.
Color me intrigued. Next one on deck, we have The Baseline, one of the biggest hoops podcasts out there, delivering fresh content this week. Zach Ramey, host of the Off the Glass podcast, joins the show as they give their takes on the NBA's version of March Madness.
Justin Huntsman is back with a new episode of Just Kicking It. He talks March tourney and potential prospects from the tourney to the NBA.
Next, so perfect, our arch nemesis, Mojo, also known as the Mojo King, if that is his real name, has a new Hidden Gems golf podcast out. Catch up with the best bets in golf.
Finally, we have Dunk Tales, hosted by Snotty Drippin and JP, the wholesome truth teller. They have you covered with all the hoops talk you need as we approach the NBA playoffs, specifically the rise of the Boston Celtics and if Devin Booker is being overlooked in the NBA race.
I meant to include NBA MVP race there.
NBA,
my
I was going to say, do you think it's the MVP race? I was like, what's happening here?
I was on the dock and I was too slow to change it.
I saw you pop in there. I was like, I thought maybe it was something about MVP race. I was just thinking about this. I can't believe it took him this long to get his name in the mentions. I feel like Booker is a clear runner for MVP. Is he the best? No, there are other guys that are the best, but in terms of most valuable to a team, I can't think that anybody deserves it more than Devin Booker right now.
That's the energy we need, my man. I love that. I love that we give Devin a shout out on GI. Yeah, man, they're the number one team in the league by a sizable margin. I think there's something to be said for having the best player on the best team, at least in the top 5, as I know the guys on Dunk Tales will discuss. But man, I love State of 19. We have great colleagues, talented individuals at 19 Media Group, and they deserve all the shine.
Awesome. So now it's time for my second question. Question 2 for you, Tyler. The women's booking in AEW. A lot of what I wanted to ask you about, I already talked about, you already talked about. So I don't really have a ton here other than, do they know how to book their women's division right now? It's kind of a simple question. We have all of this talent. We've been getting a ton of time with Statlander and Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet in various combinations. We had Britt Baker, who hasn't been seen since her title loss, in the ring anyway. Mm-hmm. We have Britt Baker. We have Nyla Rose. We have Jade Cargill. Anna Jay, I haven't seen wrestle in a while. The Bunny, Penelope Ford. I've seen Bunny on screen, but I haven't seen her wrestle in a while, unless I'm forgetting about it, and it very well could be. Where are all the women, Tyler? What are they doing in there? Do you think that they have a booking problem? To answer the callback, I do, and I'm not sure how they fix it.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with you on this one, my guy. It's tough because we know the talent is obviously there, and we see the star potential in so many of the women on the roster. But yeah, this week was really rough for the women's division between the aforementioned Thunder Rosa, Vicky, Nyla segment, and then on Rampage, Nyla squashed someone. Yeah. I forget her name. I think it was Maddie something, but it
doesn't matter.
It was a 1 minute or less match, Beast Bomb, and then it was done. And that,
I got up to get a drink and it was over.
Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting a women's match from Dynamite. Wasn't there one? You may have said it. Maybe I'm blanking on it. We have the list.
It was Layla, right, Layla and Velvet, right?
Yes. Yeah, I must have missed that. My bad. Layla and Velvet, right? Two great women. Two very talented individuals. But I would agree with you that there is a booking problem. I think we saw that during a lot of Britt's title reign. Not that Britt isn't awesome, but just the booking of her and the need for legit contenders who we thought maybe had a shot to beat her, it felt pretty non-existent. And again, what we saw this past week in the women's division, it just seems like they could be doing a lot better. I will say, maybe I'm an AEW show, Brad. You can color me that. But I will say I do have hope in terms of booking toward Double or Nothing and what we could get from the build from now until that May pay-per-view. I think Jade is probably going to have a really viable threat, whoever she may face, whether that be Athena or Toni Storm. Again, we're assuming they're signing with the company. And then for Thunder Rosa, I'm really intrigued to see who she fights. I really hope she has a title reign and challengers worthy of her star power. Because I think the Britt reign, and then like you said, the lack of time and build for the women, it's really indicative that there is a booking problem. And like you said, perhaps they frankly don't know how to book their women's division right now. It's pretty glaring. I think they're making a lot of strides with the men, and the men are getting time, and a lot of dudes are being built. I think consistently, we know that criticism that's been levied to Tony Khan, it does keep rearing its ugly head. And I think with merit, it wasn't a good week for the women's division here. They deserve a lot more.
Totally agreed. I don't know what they do. This was actually just a kind of a messy week for AEW in general. We had some absolute bangers in this week. I mean, Dax and Punk was so
open the show. Yes,
good. That was such a great.
That's a dream match for you. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, I mean, well, it delivered. It was an incredible match. It was an incredible wrestling match. Yeah. We had the AFO and Sting and Darby, and
That
the
was
Hardy
fun.
Boys. That was all Jeff Hardy doing crazy Jeff Hardy things. A
Be careful, Jeff.
great MJF promo. We had Cole versus Lethal. We had
Yeah, that ruled.
so much good stuff that was on there. We also had Sammy and Ty, and I wanted to ask this as one of the questions, and I want to bring it up now. First of all, I hated it. I hated all of it. I hated what they did. I don't like that Ty suddenly shows up at his matches. Hasn't been there the entire time. They're leading into it, and then they put a picture on social media of Sammy and Ty naked in bed with their nether regions covered with TNT title strap. Okay,
I saw it.
I hated that. I know that these belts aren't real. I know that these belts don't actually have any kind of I won value to it. I get it. It's professional wrestling. I understand. I also know that we assign value to things that don't necessarily have value. Paper money represents something. I get it. I felt like this devalued the belt. I felt like it devalues the legacy that Brody Lee left behind by going, this is just a tool for a sex photo, just to get a pop from the crowd while Dan Lambert is out doing a promo. Like all of it made me mad. It was bad. I'm sick of Dan Lambert on my screen, which is probably good for his heel work, but get somebody else. I'm glad that he's doing other things, and hopefully he'll transition away from Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, because they don't need a mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I was down on this AEW stuff this week a lot more than I normally am. I was just down on it. I was down on that. I was down on some of the promos, really down on how they've been booking the women. Has Dark Order won anything in forever?
Yeah.
I mean,
When
if
you
they're
think
not,
about how hot they were a year ago, they've really taken a back seat.
yeah, every time they come out as like, oh, we're going to stand up to you. Like House of Black is going to kill them. Like they're just going to,
House of
they have
something
this,
the AW's done right. House of Black, man.
yes,
Great
but
trio.
Dark Order is going to go out there and lose again. And it's like,
Yeah.
they'll be on TV, but they have a 0.00% chance of winning this match. It's just that they exist to lose. Same thing for Fuego. Fuego on the main roster he exists there to lose. Ever since his tag partner mysteriously disappeared, Fuego 2, with his Texas neck tattoo and a dream tattoo on his chest. I don't know who he is. We got to figure this out. But Fuego 2 is gone. Now he has no backup. Maybe we get Fuego 3. Maybe somebody that's the size of like a Paul White would be amazing. Would love to see that.
Actual Paul White, yeah.
Actual Paul White with
Actual Paul White.
No. Fuego 3.
Fuego 3, yeah.
Just saying.
That'd be
Wink.
pretty great.
Wink. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, lots that I like, but generally down on all of this. What do you think about the belt situation? The using the belt as a robe?
Yeah, well, this is actually kind of in a circular way part of my question 3. So I'll save the question 3 for the proper time shortly. But to be honest with you, Brad, I didn't consider how that segment may have tarnished the belt. But what you're saying, I'm not just saying this because
literally tarnished.
I'm not just saying this because you are obviously a dear friend, but I think what you're saying is very valid, a very valid critique of this segment. It did devalue the belt, right? Like for me, when I saw the segment, I'll say this, I thought less about the devaluing of the belt and more about how the current presentation of Ty and Sammy does nothing for me as baby faces. To me, this feels like a budding heel act. These two beautiful people who know they're beautiful and want to show you how much they're in love. And obviously this is kind of stemmed from people being really nasty and rude on Twitter to them. But now them sort of like really leaning into it off and on screen. I don't want to root for them. Like super happy they're in love and found each other. But this is not an act that I want to root for whatsoever. By proxy, I agree with you. It did not make the TNT. I don't think anyone left the segment looking good, which to me is a reason for concern. The TNT belt doesn't look better. I don't think Sammy and Ty look like baby faces I want to root for. And I definitely don't need Dan Lambert on my screen anymore. This dude is getting such consistent TV time. He's part of my question 3 for you. So I'm going to end here. He's getting such consistent TV time, and his rhetoric just to me seems so out of place on the AEW product. AEW has been marketed and advertised to us as wrestling for the current times, in terms of the diversity of their roster, which we've spoken about diversity and representation, the diversity of their roster, about their storylines, about letting wrestlers be artists. Having Dan Lambert call Ty, what was it? He said Lucha Horus.
Yeah.
Like, not only does that do nothing for me, but that makes me really upset. Like, why am I supporting a product that has this on valuable TV time? We left that shit back in the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s. We don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
It was a total no for me, and I think your critique about what this did for the TNT title, although I didn't think that way initially, my mind didn't go there, completely valid. Great point.
And I think it's especially damning now. When you think TNT title right now, what do you think? TNT title.
I think about the photo you mentioned.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the first thing that pops into my head now. The second thing that pops into my head is Dan Lambert wearing the title, calling himself one of the TNT champions.
The co-champ, yep.
Really pisses me off.
Yeah,
and
it's ridiculous.
And it shouldn't. It's wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not even a
and
real
he's getting
championship,
heat,
but
right? He's getting heat. People are booing him. Like it's effective in that way.
It's effective in that way, but by doing that, it's just saying like he just got it. He just has it. That's how you become champion, is just you possess the belt. That makes it confusing for what Adam Cole is doing. The other thing is there's this split championship where there's 2 belts. They haven't unified them yet. Bro, given what's happened with Scorpio's run, I don't care about him as champion right now. His run has sucked because they've made him suck. They've gone, your championship doesn't matter. The way you win doesn't matter. We're going to put more emphasis on what Sammy and Ty are doing behind closed doors while wearing a championship to build heat with Dan Lambert, but not with Scorpio. It doesn't make any sense. It's terrible. So I hated all of it. I hate all of it. It makes me not care about the TNT title. Think about the TBS title right now is the most important belt in the company, arguably. Arguably,
Hangman's doing his thing.
I was just gonna say Hangman's doing his thing right now, and he's made that belt
sneakily
really matter.
Great.
That belt has been the AEW championship belt. That belt means something. I mean, everybody's had really good runs that I can think of. Like, I can't poo-poo on Mox's run. Kenny's run was obviously incredible. Jericho's run was probably less good, but he also didn't have the same roster to work with.
Yeah. And the point in his career that he's at compared to Kenny, Mox, and Hangman, like Jericho is what, 50?
Yeah.
Right.
51.
Late 40s when he won the title.
Yeah.
Like, dude's not doing tope suicidas like Kenny Omega. Right.
No.
And he's not doing wild stunts like Mox.
And he wasn't in the shape he's in right now.
Exactly.
He's in a much better place all around.
Exactly.
So I just, man, why are they actively devaluing the TNT title? Why are they booking women like this, except for Jade? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well said. Well, on the bright side, Brad, the best pick-me-up that we can possibly offer in gimmick infringement. I say it often because it's true. My favorite moment of the week, it is time for Someday When You Have Kids.
And now it's time for
I'm crazy.
Someday When You Have Kids.
You're crazy.
Tyler, this week, I mentioned to you last week that I had an idea for what I wanted to say this week because it's getting harder and harder to come up with things as we go along. I feel like this needs to be a once in a while deal, but I do stuff happens, man. This also feels like it could be a share what happened this week kind of segment.
Mm-hmm.
But Tyler, someday when you have kids, you're going to get hit with the curveball, and it's going to happen a lot. People with kids, fellow parents out there know exactly what I'm talking about, even though they might not know what I mean by curveball. It's, I'm going to talk to my child. I'm going to ask them how their day was. I'm going to ask them about what they ate. I'm going to ask if they'd like something. I'm going to tell them something sweet. And they're going to simply change direction on you. They're going to respond to you with crazy stuff, things unrelated. It'll be, Freya, did you like your apples today? Yeah, but sometime when I go outside, I want to use the shovel. The hell does that have to do with apples? Someday when you have kids, you're going to get it out of nowhere. It's just going to hit you right in the face. It's going to be, I'm trying to ask you something. It's going to be, I love you so much, honey. You're the best thing in the world. And you're going to get a foot in the face. And your kid's going to go, smell my foot. While you're trying to tell them how important they are to you, how much you love them, it's just going to be bam, foot, stinky ass foot, right in your face, out of nowhere. Or it's going to be like giving you a hug and then trying to choke the life out of you, because that's what they do. The curveball, Tyler. I cannot tell you how many out of nowhere DDTs I have taken coming over to check on her because she fell and she's holding her knee and she baits me. She baits me, man.
Great worker. Great worker.
I get in there and it's just leg goes up and I go back every single time. And I have to sell my ass off for her. But man, I'm telling you, the curveball, the conversations with your child that go straight ahead and end up somewhere else because it's just yeah. But also, Freya, would you like chocolate? Yeah, I want chocolate. Can I have some apple juice? Okay. They're kind of related. Cool. Here's your apple juice. Did you want ice in that? Yeah. But sometimes I'd like to go to the park. The hell?
I like the park, yeah.
The curveball, man. The curveball out of nowhere. It's glorious. I love it. It happens at least 2 or 3 times a day. And every time it's just befuddlement is the best way I could describe what I feel. And then laughter and joy, because I know it's not going to last, but it is amazing. Enjoy the curveball someday when you have kids.
We love Freya so much here at Gimmick Infringement. Man, the DDT, I thought you were going to tell me that maybe she was developing a big boot or a bulldog choke, but it sounds like she just
both of those
puts the foot in your face and just like gives you a light choke, not a Moxley.
No
bulldog.
Choke. She'll just go up to me like I no kidding. It was in the car and I turned around and I wanted to tell her how much I loved her today because something happened at work. A kid was expelled or it was the kid that was admitted to the hospital because of an ongoing drug problem. And I just wanted to tell her how much I love her and I'm proud of her and all of that stuff. And while I'm telling her this, she kicks her shoe off and goes, smell my foot, while I'm telling her this stuff. That's a shoot. It happened in the car too. It was just, yeah, she just does that. And then she gets her fake laugh. She's like,
I've heard that laugh from her. Yes.
She's absolutely turning into Seth Rollins. Well, everybody that's listening to this has heard that laugh because it's part of the someday when you have kids opening. That is Freya laughing at me because I said, you're not supposed to say that. Like she said something totally different than when I asked her. And then just does that. Just curveball.
Half Seth Rollins, half broken Matt Hardy.
Like she does that. Yeah.
Yeah. She might start doing the delete, and then you may have a problem on your hands.
Oh yeah. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Tyler, I'm ready for you to hit me with question 3.
Let's go. Very much related to what we were discussing a few minutes ago. So I'll pivot a bit. I thought about this while we saw that segment featuring Dan Lambert. Obviously, he is one of the most prominent heel managers in AEW at the moment. I can think of him. There's Don Callis. There's Smart Mark Sterling. Love the brain buster he took from John Silver. I still think about that often in that Anna Jade match. I do enjoy Sterling. Callis and Lambert, though, uber heel managers. Question for you, Brad. Although we're not loving what Dan Lambert's doing, you and I do appreciate a good bad guy manager. Who are, in no particular order, your top 3 heel managers of all time? WWE, ECW, WCW. I think of Paul Heyman. I think of Bill Alfonso back in the RVD Taz Sabu days. Jimmy Hart, right? The Mouth of the South. Certainly there's women we can add, tons of women as well. It's not just the sausage fest. Top 3 heel managers. Who did you love?
Paul Heyman, number 1. I'm just putting him on number 1 and leaving him there.
I figured you might.
In no particular order after that, Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette was a great heel manager with those tennis rackets, even though he has shitty ideas and he's kind of racist. So Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, and man, after that, it gets really difficult.
Vicky Guerrero.
No.
What would Bully Ray say? It's heat, pal. It's
heat.
We're friends of busted
what
open.
Is her name?
Not as good these days.
I'm trying to think of her name.
Yeah. Can I just throw one out while you're researching? One from my past that I think is highly slept on because she's such a babyface now is Trish Stratus when she was managing Test and Alberts.
That's right.
I don't know where she stands on the
that.
pantheon,
Ooh.
but Brad, during my childhood, obviously I was in love with Trish Stratus and had a huge crush on her. Her managing those 2 dudes and just being evil as all get out, she's on my personal list.
I finally remembered who it is because she had a look that made you mad. Even when she was working as a face. Sherry Martel. Miss Sherry, man. Sherry Martel.
Miss Sherry. Blast from the past.
Yeah. Sherry Martel. I hated her. Man, I hated her. Just the worst. But yeah, I was really struggling with that one because you had the one that I think I want to put out there that I feel like is cheating. And this is why above Sherry Martel is another woman. Stephanie McMahon is so underrated as a great manager. When she was working with Triple H, I mean, I know she was women's champ and all that. She was a manager. She was not ring talent. Stephanie McMahon was an incredible manager. So I'm going to go with that. So
yeah, that's a great choice.
Yeah, Paulie, man, I don't know. There's so many, dude. Why did you do this to me? Because
I love Bill Alfonso and ECW as well.
How do I leave off Jimmy
awesome.
Hart or Paul Bearer? Like, how do I leave that
Paul
off?
Bearer. Thank you. I thought about that when I was coming up with this question, but I didn't mention him. Paul Bearer, iconic. We're going to see him
has to be on the list.
We're going to see his likeness on our screens with Undertaker's Hall of Fame.
Why am I out of focus?
You are.
There we go.
You are in focus. Look at that. You're back.
It's magical.
Great,
well, we are
beard.
really bringing it today. Who are your top 3?
Yeah, just personal favorites. Paul Heyman, Paul Bearer, because I can just hear Percy Pringle's voice in my head now.
Oh yeah, it's just so high pitched, and it's like Undertaker. It's just so good all the time. He's got the little.
I hadn't heard your impression of him before. That was
I've never.
Your impressions lately. Like we need to go back in the GI archive. I'm sure everyone listening right now and hopefully watching too. You are just on a hot streak, man. Like your impressions lately are just A1, pal. A1.
Ooh, that sounds good. I'm really hungry. We've been recording for 14 hours.
Yeah.
I'm really hungry.
Paul Heyman, Paul Bearer, and I got to go Trish at that 3rd spot. Honorable mention is Bill Alfonso for me. I was a huge fan.
Paul, Trish. Got it. Okay.
That's right.
Two Pauls and a Trish.
Yep.
PPT. All right. 3rd question. Last question.
Let's go.
Speaking of Nyla Rose and how Nyla Rose is booked, Lance Archer kind of booked the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Does AEW have any idea what to do with Lance Archer?
I think they do, but their use of him is
hold on. Let me give some context.
Yeah.
Did you
please.
see his promo about how he's not being used on Dark?
No, I did not.
Oh, he cut one, and it was basically like, "What do I got to do to be on the main roster?" That kind of thing.
We've heard that promo from him before, I feel like.
They just dust him off to come out to fight the champ, to have a Texas death match with this guy, to have a Texas death match with this guy, and then he disappears, and then they don't know what to do until he comes back. They dust him off again, another Texas death match. Or he just comes out there to murder people. Why? To set up a Texas death match. I'm not really sure if I haven't seen what I know that's what they see, what they should do with him, but I don't know if that's a plan. Maybe I'm wrong here. I don't know, but I feel like they don't know what they're doing. I hope I'm wrong. I don't see it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, to me, him and Brian Cage have been in similar positions where they debuted as these really monster heels who were coming directly for the world championship. But then once they lost that match, that first title match, they were never really the same since. And they're imposing. Yeah, they're going to stack up wins largely on Dark. But then that next title match we know they're going to lose. I know they haven't exactly had the same trajectory, but I think there's been a real issue there. And specifically with Archer, like you said, it's tough because I really enjoyed the Hangman Texas Death match they had. It was
great.
Banger. It's not like the match was terrible and it's like, oh my gosh, Lance Archer's on the screen again. The dude's an awesome worker, but as a character, it's just not believable that he's going to do anything really substantive. It's like you said, it's just the same booking of he's going to beat dudes up, he's going to stack wins, but then when he gets in a meaningful match, he's probably going to lose it. So yeah, the booking is really perplexing, Brad, but I think as the roster has grown from when Lance Archer was signed until now, I think you've just had so many people who have been ushered into this main event level that inevitably he's kind of taken a back seat, and thus I think the booking has been not awesome. I think when Miro returns, we mentioned him earlier. He fought Miro for the TNT belt at a pay-per-view last year. I forget which one.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, he was built as like, oh man, like Lance Archer is this nearly 7-foot dude. He's going to be a problem. No one thought he was going to beat Miro. He loses to Miro, and then like you said, if I have my memory correct, he disappears.
Yeah.
But then when a champion needs a challenger, just like Nyla Rose, he's going to pop up and he's going to be an imposing presence, but we know nothing's going to become of that. So yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about that, Brad. But again, you're on fire today. Him and Nyla do have really similar booking tendencies, and I don't know that it's really serving either of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I expect. I just like to see him more often off of Dark, I guess. Because there's so many possibilities. I know Keith and Swerve are doing their thing with Team Taz right now, but imagine Archer versus Keith Lee. Those are two big dudes. Triple threat match with Hobbs. Good Lord.
Yeah.
To have a fatal four-way with Wardlow.
We need to get a Wardlow versus Archer match at some point.
Oh my God, yes.
That has to happen.
I mean, the thing that sucks about it is that Wardlow has to win. So I don't know.
Exactly. Who is Archer gonna defeat that's meaningful? Maybe he defeats Dustin Rhodes when it's all said and done. But then where does he go from there? A TNT title shot?
I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed that match, even though Dustin ruptured his eardrum during the match. When he was staggering around, that was legit. I think you break your eardrum, you lose balance, and that it's not a good time. But yeah, that brings us to the last things. What are your final thoughts for the week, Tyler?
Yeah, Brad, I know we're probably going to keep this within an hour, which may be a record for us. But I do want to highlight one major story. Obviously, we talked about WrestleMania at length, which hopefully our listeners enjoy. But I have to mention Triple H, his interview with Stephen A. Smith on Stephen A's World. He announced his retirement from in-ring action. Obviously, we could go another 30 on the career of Triple H and what he's meant to you and I. But man, I to me, it just made me think of really, without being too hallmarky or cliche, just really that need to embrace every day and appreciate every day that's given to us with health and love and people in our life that we care about. Because it seemed like Triple H, like you just look at him, it's like, oh my gosh, the dude is still a Haas, and he's still around the company and mentoring talent. But then he had that health scare, and it seemed like it really impacted him and led to him calling it a career. So obviously wishing him well. I think he was obviously the architect of the Black and Gold brand, which I think meant a lot to you and certainly meant a lot to me, and the talents that have come from NXT, the original. And overall, just as a talent, I know his career was maybe a bit polarizing in the fact that one may argue nepotism played a role in how big he got. But my God, man, you talk about influential figures. We just talked about the late Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, how influential he was. You talk about a bad guy. Triple H was that dude, Brad. I told you, I remember practicing so many times, drinking from a water bottle and trying to do the Triple H spit thing in the backyard. And I never did it. Like, still to this day, 29 years on this planet, I've never executed the Triple H spit entrance ever.
Wow.
Not the way I've wanted to, at least. I know it's an issue.
It's all about lighting.
It's all about lighting.
Yeah, you got to get the lighting right.
Yes, I just have fond memories of watching this dude. And final thought, then I want to pass it to you. I think he is really one of those rare, special talents that did wonders as a heel, but then also was an absolute rock star babyface. He played both well. You and I have talked at length about his return and the pop he got from that injury. I forget what year this was, but when he came back in the all denim,
I think 2002.
That sounds right. When he came back in the all denim and was just an ass kicker, and we had no choice but to cheer because it's like, oh my gosh, this dude came back from a serious injury and he's here to kick ass. We have to applaud him.
Yep.
I have fond memories of watching this dude, incredibly influential to my wrestling fandom. And I just hope he's right, man. I forgot that he has kids, a 15-year-old daughter and younger ones. And I really think his work in NXT Black and Gold has just really solidified his legacy for the rest of time.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say there. I was a little afraid you were going to bum us all out again, but
you don't have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, the way that you started it out, I was like, God, this again. Because four episodes in a row, we're like,
yes,
and this depressing thing happened.
Good night. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think it's certainly something to keep in perspective that he has children, that he is a father, that he is a son-in-law, and I don't know what his relationship is with his parents, but or if they're even still with us. But I know that it is definitely time to start wrapping up here, as I hear people talking and doors exploding all around me, and my ADHD is going absolutely bonkers. So I have nothing else to add other than I hope that he finds some health, finds respite. I know he said he might not. He's probably not going to be in front of people again. It sounded like his in-ring work is done and being in front of people is done, which certainly bums me out. But if he gets super amped before he goes in front of people, it's probably best that he doesn't do that, given his heart conditions and some of it genetic, apparently. Really unfortunate for him. But the good thing is that he's still with us and we get to gush about his career, as he calls it, official. I'm just happy that he gets to get his flowers. And I'm so happy for that. I know a lot of people that didn't like him, but they're thinking about the Hunter Hearst Helmsley days, not Triple H. Right. There's a difference. And I was telling you in the group chat the other day, My Time is still my favorite entrance music of his, because it's so DX related, same group. And I never understood the names reference in there. He says something, Jimmy, keep it one more time, and I didn't realize something like that when he's riffing before getting into the song. And it's It's Jim Johnston. I just never put that together, that the Jimmy he's referencing is one of the greatest wrestling composers, if not the greatest wrestling composer.
Probably the greatest.
Probably
yeah.
the greatest of all time. But Ruckus is at the heels, man. Ruckus is on a crazy run in a short period of time. But I loved my time. And to think that he had 3 or 4 classics.
Yes,
King of Kings.
One of the greatest entrance runs, theme runs ever.
Yes.
Bangers. You said
All of
4.
them.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Evolution.
Oh, man.
Like, you got to consider that.
Evolution.
Yes. Shout out to Motorhead.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Just so influential for all the reasons you listed. The music, the in-ring work, the NXT, founding and mentorship. Just, man, just one of the greatest to ever do it in the industry.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, that's it, Brad. We did it, man. We're 59 minutes in right now as of this exact moment. I had a blast with you. I hope our listeners enjoyed. Do you want to give us our plugs on the way out? Where can the people find us?
Okay, everybody can find us. You can go to 19mediagroup.com. You can check out at 19M Group on Twitter. You can just search 19 Media Group on Instagram. If you do that, find the channel and you'll find our YouTube there. If you're watching this, you already know that. If you go to at GIPod19, you can follow the podcast page at Wind Duster. Wind Duster is me on Twitter, and I think Instagram. No, Instagram is at the real Wind Duster or
Not the
Real
fake
Wind
one.
Duster. I don't know. You'll find me. And then Tyler J. McDowell on Twitter. Tyler, what is your Instagram? Is it also Tyler J. McDowell?
No, it's not. It's much funkier. The Instagram is Ty McDowell B.
You can also check us out on gimmickinfringementpod.com.
I think it's clever. Yeah.
It took me a second. I was like, B. I get it.
It's a whole thing. I'm on
gimmickinfringementpod.com. There's going to be more writing up soon. I'm not going to put a date on that bad boy, but it'll be soon, including potentially a guest piece, which really excited about that. I think I covered it. I'm not sure. Did I miss anything, Tyler?
No, man, you nailed it. And just a huge week for GI with
Yes.
WrestleMania coming up. Brad and I are stoked, and we hope you'll give our special content a listen. We thank you so much for checking out this episode. We hope to see you on the next one, and happy WrestleMania week.
Let's go.
Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.